He had been stationed on the edge of the Sci-Fi sector, far from human colonies and even farther from the comforts of Earth. Commander Eli Ward had seen strange things in his years, but nothing quite prepared him for what came next. It began with a transmission unlike any other. The signal was not just a message, it was a resonance, a frequency so finely tuned it hummed in his chest when he received it. His comms team, a mix of seasoned humans and a few trusted AI units, had been baffled for hours. But Eli, ever patient, traced the signal to its origin, the Andros cluster, a system known for its hostile anomalies and ancient alien ruins. When they arrived, Eli saw the source, a colossal vessel, shimmering with an iridescent glow that seemed alive, floating in orbit around a pale blue planet. Its design defied physics as he knew them, and its sheer scale made the human dread instinct kick in. Yet, it emitted no weapon signature, no aggression, only an almost imperceptible invitation. They docked cautiously, and as Eli stepped through the airlock, he was greeted by beings unlike any he had ever seen. Towering figures with translucent skin that shimmered like liquid silver, their eyes vast pools reflecting the cosmos. They moved with grace, each step almost floating, each gesture perfectly synchronized as if choreographed by the stars themselves. Among them was the Queen, unmistakable even in a sea of royalty. Her presence was magnetic, her aura commanding yet strangely gentle. She regarded Eli not as a visitor, not as a soldier, but with curiosity, as if the weight of the universe had placed him before her for a reason she could not yet name. "You are human," she said. Her voice was melodic, layered with harmonics Eli couldn't fully comprehend, yet he understood every word. "I am," Eli replied cautiously. "You have survived the edge," she said, a faint smile curving her lips. "Few of your kind endure what lies beyond the cluster." Eli had expected diplomacy, perhaps a test of strength, maybe even a polite dismissal, but nothing prepared him for the next words. "How do I marry you?" Eli froze, the words echoing in his mind. The Queen, an alien monarch whose entire species had survived millennia, had just asked him, a single human, how to marry him. He felt the weight of 1,000 eyes upon him, the gravity of countless civilizations hanging in the pause that followed. I don't," he started, then stopped. How could he explain? In his entire career, no alien, no diplomat, no warlord had ever considered the possibility of union with a human. This was unprecedented. The Queen stepped closer, her gaze unwavering. "I see your hesitation. Your mind races with disbelief. And yet you understand. Do you not feel it as I do?" Eli shook his head, more to gather his thoughts than to deny. I don't know what to say." "You need not speak yet," she said softly. "Words are trivial compared to what is required. But know this, our connection is undeniable. The universe has aligned us." Commander, her honesty, raw and unpretentious, disarmed him. Humans often thought themselves alone in the galaxy, exceptional yet fragile, and here was a being whose civilization spanned eons, acknowledging a bond with him, not for strategy, not for survival, not for conquest, but simply because it existed. For days Eli remained aboard her vessel. He observed the workings of a civilization far beyond human comprehension. Cities floated inside vast chambers, powered by crystalline cores that hummed with energy, forests growing within artificial gravity fields, streams of liquid light flowing like rivers through the corridors. He met scholars who spoke in equations that bent reality, in artisans whose creations defied time itself. And yet every moment the Queen's presence remained. She spoke little of politics or war, focusing instead on questions of humanity, its fears, its ambitions, its capacity for love. Eli shared tales of Earth, of wars and victories, of simple joys like watching rain against a window, of laughter around a campfire in the void. She listened, utterly fascinated, never dismissing a detail, never trivializing a memory. One evening, as Eli walked along the luminescent gardens of her ship, she appeared beside him silently. "Tell me why your kind persists," she said, her eyes reflecting the nebulae outside. "Against all odds, against extinction, against the darkness that threatens to swallow you, you endure." Eli considered this. Humans had survived plagues, wars, disasters, even cosmic misfortunes beyond counting. But why did they persist? Was it hope, stubbornness, or something deeper, something unquantifiable? "It's in us," he said finally. "We fight because we must. Not just for survival, but for the promise of tomorrow. Even when the odds are against us, we find a way." The Queen's gaze softened. "It is admirable, and it is rare enough that the universe itself seems to notice, bringing us together." Over time, Eli grew accustomed to the rhythm of life aboard her vessel, to the subtle vibrations that ran through the ship like a heartbeat. Yet, he could not ignore the growing tension within him, the recognition that what had begun as curiosity had shifted into something profound. Every glance from her, every conversation, carried a weight he could not fully articulate. And then came the trial. A faction from within her species, wary of a union with a human, challenged the bond. They viewed it as a threat, a dilution of millennia of heritage. Eli faced the accusation not with fear, but with resolve. He spoke not of conquest, not of human superiority, but of understanding, of trust, of the quiet, stubborn power of humanity that often went unnoticed until proven essential. He demonstrated strategy, compassion, and ingenuity in ways that stunned even the most skeptical elders. One by one, their objections fell, not because they were persuaded, but because they could not deny the bond that had already formed. Finally, the queen approached him, her presence radiating calm authority. "You have passed what I could not expect you to," she said. "Not by strength alone, but by what lies in your spirit. This is why I asked." Eli felt the enormity of the moment. Across the void of countless galaxies, the weight of entire civilizations pressed upon a single truth. He was seen, not as a novelty, not as a curiosity, but as a worthy partner. The ceremony itself was unlike anything Eli had imagined. It was not a ritual of humans, nor entirely of her kind, but a merging of two worlds. Light and energy coalesced around them, forming an aurora that seemed to sing in harmony with the universe. Their hands, so different in shape and texture, clasped together as if destiny had been waiting for this exact moment since the dawn of time. When it was done, the queen smiled at him, a mixture of triumph, relief, and genuine joy. "You had no words," she said softly, recalling his initial hesitation. "And yet here we are." Eli laughed, a deep, liberating sound. "I still don't have them," he admitted, "but I think that's okay." And so, aboard a vessel that floated through the stars, human and alien, commander and queen, found a connection that transcended species, language, and expectation. In the vastness of space, among civilizations both old and new, they discovered a simple truth. Some bonds are written not by history, but by the universe itself, insisting that even in the infinite chaos, some hearts are destined to meet. Years later, when humans spoke of first contact, when scholars debated the meaning of alliances and the potential of interstellar diplomacy, few understood what truly mattered. It wasn't treaties or technology, it was the quiet bravery of a human who dared to meet the extraordinary without fear, and the wisdom of a queen who saw the value in a life not her own. Eli often reflected on that moment of disbelief, when he had no words for her question. It had seemed impossible, absurd even, that an alien monarch would ask how to marry him, but now, looking back, he realized the absurdity was in thinking words could ever capture the magnitude of what had happened. Words were never meant to contain the universe's marvels, they were meant to hint at them. The stars stretched endlessly around them, but for the first time, Eli felt a sense of home. Not a planet, not a base, not even the comforting hum of a human ship, but in the presence of someone who understood that courage. Resilience and love could bridge any distance, any divide, any unimaginable difference, and in that understanding, Eli found his words after all. Not spoken, but lived. Every choice, every action, every shared glance spoke volumes. The universe had not only brought them together, it had entrusted them with a truth, both fragile and eternal, that even the smallest, seemingly insignificant human could stand equal among the stars. And so, the legend began not of battles won or planets conquered, but of a human and a queen who dared to trust the impossible. Their story traveled faster than light, carried not by ships or signals, but by the resonance of hope, courage, and the undeniable power of humanity. Even across the void, civilizations paused to listen, and somewhere in the hum of the galaxies, the queen's voice echoed softly, asking once more, not for words this time, but for the simple certainty they already shared. "How do we continue this journey together?" Eli smiled, gripping her hand as the stars swirled around them. He did not need words. The universe itself had already answered.